So what were your next stops? Because you started off with individual projects, but you eventually became responsible for programs.
What I did is that I figured doing these individual company to company or even group of companies to group of companies is not going to really have a big impact. You can do hundreds of these things. It's not going to move the needle. So, you got to do something that creates a system for this to operate on its own. And I thought, okay, we need some way of collecting data and making data available to people on a more general basis. So I did a test survey in 4 countries of foreign investors in these 4 African countries. Basically, a perception survey. Why did you invest in Kenya? What were you looking for? What were your objectives? How is your business going? What kind of problems do you face working in Kenya?
So you were taking a step back and looking at it from a bigger picture,
exactly,
from a strategic and tactical perspective.
Exactly, and basically saying, if we can collect this data and make it globally available, more companies could be informed about what opportunities there are and what their peers are doing, etc. So we did this test in 4 countries. It was very, people were very impressed by it.
Was it kind of a Tinder for economic opportunities?
That's what we were.
Tinder for economic opportunities.
Well, I was chief of unit for that.
Yeah, very cool. And you tested it for 4 different countries. What was the feedback?
The feedback was phenomenal. Yeah. And then we said, okay, we have to develop this further. And we developed further and further. It became a huge program for 20 countries where we were doing regular surveys, collecting much more in-depth data, and putting this data on like a platform, web-based platform, where companies can use it like a dashboard. They can analyze their data. They can look at things they're particularly interested in. Both foreign companies can use it to identify potential partners, identify areas, countries, whatever. And countries themselves, the governments can use it to see what are their weaknesses and strengths in the eyes of actual foreign investors in their countries, where they need strengthening, where they should put their emphasis, where they have strengths that they should work on, and where they have weaknesses where perhaps they should just forget about and not waste time with.
What I hear from your what you're telling us is you started off kind of in the trenches working on projects, several of them in many different countries.
Yeah.
And then as you move forward in your position, which is actually kind of emblematic of what a project management career path could look like, is you go from projects and you start managing programs. Then you see, okay, our projects, a lot of the key aspects of a project happen before and after a project. It's kind of you got to kind of plow the earth before you can sow, right? So with this IT platform, you started saying, okay, we need to engage decision makers, people who are maybe not directly in projects during the duration of the project, but before and after. So this classical strategic and tactical thing. So that's some classical program and portfolio development. Is there a particular project that you're most fond of if you look back?
Well, this program itself was a effort that involves several projects, because the way you get projects funded in UNIDO, you can't just put together a $50 million program and get it funded for $50 million. Yeah. You work on small parts of it, and in implementing it, you link all these small parts and make a program out of it. So we had a $50 million program which was funded by maybe 6 different sources.